Jeff, how good has Aoka Lee been looking heading up to the tournament?
You know what? Better than I expected. The boy, what? Today's Sunday, so Thursday, Friday, we went back to back, which I didn't think she would go Friday. So because we went heavy Thursday. So that was a pleasant surprise to me because, I was concerned about the back to back, right? Now, when I say heavy being just getting up and down the floor and being able to do stuff and then bouncing back the next day. And when we got into practice on Friday, she said, I feel pretty good. Let's do it. And we did it. We had Saturday off. Came back today and practiced before, and she did more and didn't step out of a drill at all. So probably as good as we could expect.
So would she be on a minutes restriction, or would she be full go for this?
It's at the end of her career. I think you're on whatever restriction you can gut out and do. You know what I mean? I don't think, I think it's, I would say probably from a playing well restriction, she's probably not able to go long stretches without a rest, right? Her conditioning level is probably, we're probably going to have to rest her, but that's just me having to, being smart, getting her breaks before the media, getting her breaks at the end of quarters so that her breaks aren't actual, live game minutes. So that'll just be on me to do a good job with that and the staff.
As the bracket show was going on, did you see clues here and there about if he were going to be a 4 or 5?
The first clue was Ole Miss. Got everybody's hopes up, right? Because everybody'd seen Ole Miss and us being the 5 at Ole Miss. And so that was the first clue. Did not like the Maryland clue. That was a team that had a 20 net that I did not think had a path to a 4. And hadn't seen them as a 4 and other things. So at the end of the day, we knew it was going to be close, and the way the bracket shook out, I think we ended up being the number 1 5 seed, right? So we were 1 slot away from that.
You mentioned out there that you were disappointed, but obviously still happy to be in the tournament. Just how do you balance kind of those emotions of disappointment that you're not hosting, but also moving forward and preparing for what you called a good location?
Well, part of my disappointment is just that it's just a fan of rewarding our fans and knowing that they want to be a part of this, and so special last year for them to be a part of it. It's not my disappointment in the sense that you want to be on this bubble every year, you want to be in there. Yeah, you'd love to be off the bubble, but to be off the bubble, you got to do it, be a 2 or a 3, really, and we just weren't. And we knew we were on this bubble, but yeah, that disappointment was more just saying to the fans that, I know that you guys have invested in us, and I know you want to be a part of it. But we're excited to be in the bracket we're in. Excited that I've never coached at Kentucky, so from a basketball perspective, it's a state that loves their basketball, and I would guess that it'll be a great atmosphere there for the 4 of us.
Fairfield has won a lot of games the past couple years. Without having a chance to scout them, just how tough of a matchup is that going to be for you?
I have no idea other than I know that they've done a great job. I followed them. Their coach has done a fantastic job. Carly was at Minnesota for a while, so she's a basketball family. Huge, done a great job with her program. I followed them in the sense that they knocked off Arkansas early in the year, so you saw that. And anytime you see a team that's in one of the mid-major levels knock off an SEC team, you pay attention to it. So I paid attention to that.
You've got a real senior-heavy team here, so this is the last stretch for them. Just how motivated have you seen them be since the Big 12 tournament ended?
It's funny because they've been such a consistent practice group. Their character, their DNA, they show up in practice pretty hard most every time. And last week's one of those weeks of practice where you're just like, they probably don't want to be grinding practice because you've been in the game mode so much. We tried to do some things differently last week. We gave them scouting reports on the practice squad guys to test their focus on drivers versus shooters versus staff did a great job of putting together some funny pictures of the stat, had a little fun with it. And so we tried to balance this week of getting work done of things we need to do better, but also recognizing that it's a tough week. I thought we had a really good week of practice. Now we got the emotional boost of Lee being out there. So don't discount that. You're out there working with her and everybody's excited to have her back. So we got a good emotional boost in that regards.
In terms of, I think it was probably over a week between the last game of the Big 12 tournament and today, what has been the biggest focus in terms of just keeping the players healthy and ready for that next ramp up of practice heading into the game?
Yeah, I think you just try to balance the offensive execution things that you need to do to stay sharp, and then the defensive things that I felt like maybe we didn't do as well. So we tried to. I didn't like our attention to details on drivers and shooter. You go back to as well as we played West Virginia. We also fouled 2 3-point shooters in the first quarter when we were playing so well. They got 7 free throws. It's a team that we were supposed to be closing out short on. And so, some of those discipline things we lost. And I said because we played differently, the chaos that we played without Lee, I thought we'd lost some discipline. So we need to be able to do both.
Obviously, this isn't this team's first NCAA tournament appearance. How much is that tournament experience helpful heading into a road environment, an environment that's a little bit unique in that sense?
Yeah, it's helpful. There's no doubt. I mean, this group's been there. They know that. They've been in some tough environments. They also know what to expect in terms of it's not just the game, it's not just the environment, it's the press conferences, it's the things that are mandatory, it's the locker rooms that you're day before a game and you have mandatory press, you have mandatory locker room interviews. All of those things are part of it, and this group's been through it, so I do think that's an advantage for us.
There's quite a bit of fan interest in this topic, but your name's been mentioned with the Missouri opening. Is there anything you want to say about that heading into the tournament?
No, I don't have anything. I mean, my focus is on this team, so my focus is on this tournament, so I'm not going to respond to internet things that go on.
And just looking at what Serena has done this season, actually that's a few weeks back, but what do you think just overall she's been able to boost her assist numbers to the numbers that she has?
I would have said this a while back on Serena Kellis, is that a good number of her assists came. Let me rephrase this. She had such a great ability to get the ball to Lee in spots that Lee could score right away that a lot of her early career assists were to the center, right? As her career has progressed, you've seen her be able to have more assists with guards, more assists with her teammates. You've seen her play better off the bounce. You've seen us run her in multiple areas of the floor. So that is she's a unique player that way. Most players can't do that. Most point guards can't do that. She's got the post-up ability that we talk about all the time, can draw gravity. So she's been able, you've seen her do that, whether it be against TCU or Iowa State or those things. That has been the key to her just racking up huge numbers. Now, the other thing is we've got better shooters around her. So, those kickouts only turn into assists when you have, Taryn's got over 80 threes made. Poindexter's got over 80. One of them's at 80, one of them's at 81. I think Jay's 65, right? A lot of those are coming from Sundell, so she's just a really versatile player.
You mentioned resting Lee when you can during games and just sort of finding those times where she can get a rest. To have a player like Kennedy who played well in the Big 12 tournament and is an experienced player, how much does that help heading into the tournament?
Yeah, I think Kennedy's been coming on the last month. I think she's been more patient inside. I think she's adjusted to the size that you're going to play against in the Big 12 and certainly in the tournament. It's really helpful. I mean, it's all hands on deck, and certainly in the tournament, the winner go home we're going to have people step up that are different than just people that do it every night. You know, there's always great tournament stories, whether it be your a three-point shooter that has their night where they have 6 or 7 threes, or a player that maybe averages 6 points a game that goes for 18 or 19. Kennedy has shown that kind of ability, and certainly with getting Lee back, we're excited about that, but we're also excited about the fact that we don't have the drop-off when we sub. The benefit has been that her and Lester have both been in the fire since Lee's injury, right? And you can even throw Moppin into there. So we've got better depth than we had a month ago at that spot.
You mentioned the bubble, the 4-5 host bubble. To be in this bubble for 2 straight years, how much does it help the program moving forward?
Well, certainly recruits pay attention. They pay attention to who you're playing. They pay attention to where you're playing. They pay attention to where you're at in the bracket. They pay attention to that we've been ranked for now 36, 37 straight weeks. They pay attention to all those things, and at the end of the day, this is about attracting talent to Manhattan, Kansas, and you've got to have the elite players want to play with your program, and we're getting that kind of response from recruits. And what are we, 12 days away from the portal opening up for real, right? You know, so I mean, all of these things are being paid attention to by players.
You mentioned fan support and how you were encouraging people out there to potentially travel. For people that weren't here to hear that, what would you tell people of why it would be important for them to travel out there?
Well, one, we'd love to see some purple there. I don't know the other colors of the schools, but I don't think anybody else is in purple. So we'd love to see it. I would expect that this will be a well-attended regional, and I would just say that anybody that's traveled to these events, they're fun to be a part of, and it'd be great to see our fans there. And I don't know how far is Lexington from here, Randy? About 10 or 11 quicker on that plane we're taking is what you're telling me. Yeah. Anyways, it won't be an easy trip, but it's certainly doable. And those that want to go, what I would tell them is in the NCAA tournament week, I'd get on right now and figure out where you're flying to, because those things, my experience has been those flights get gobbled up quickly by fans. So that'd be my advice.
You ever coached in Rupp before?
I haven't. And I don't even know, the women have not always played in Rupp. They've played in Memorial. Are they playing in Memorial in the tournament? I'm going to guess they have to, right? They have to play where they. Yep. Yeah. So it is a. But I've never coached in Lexington before. I've coached at Louisville before, but I've never coached at Lexington. So that'll be fun.
Anything else for Coach? All right, players will be in shortly.
All right, guys. Thank you.